Hey everyone, Daryl here. So today I'm going to talk about this generic LED tube I bought from Alibaba, and right next to it I have my Chauvet Well STX 180. And if you're like me, you've noticed recently that a lot of DJs, particularly wedding DJs, have been using these LED tubes as part of their setups. They look elegant and classy. You may have excitedly rushed to Google to see the price, and lo and behold, you realize that Asteras and Chauvets aren't cheap. Like, they're really expensive. At their core, they're basically just a plastic tube with an LED strip, and you probably could build one for under $30 a unit. But as a professional DJ, I like using professional gear that has been engineered to last a long time and actually be reliable and work when you bring it to a gig. I not only wanted a tube that would enhance my show aesthetically, but also make setup and takedown a little less stressful. I wanted a light that was battery operated, had wireless DMX because adjusting lights with an RF remote is a pain, and was pixel mappable for some cool animations. I found many tubes at more affordable prices, but none of them met those three criteria. It was at that point I turned to Alibaba to see if I could find a less expensive alternative from China. Again, I was met with many options that didn't meet my criteria until I found this one. It had wireless DMX, it had a battery, and it was pixel mappable. And it was $2,500 for 10 of them with a charging hard case. So for the price of about 8 Asteras, I could buy 20 of these. I decided to take a risk and buy one to test it out before committing to buying a pack of them. I've had luck making purchases on Alibaba in the past, especially light fixtures, so I wasn't worried about that. When it arrived, I excitedly opened it only to find out half of the tube wasn't lighting up. I immediately contacted support, and a day later, due to time zone differences, they mentioned that this happened sometimes. The components would get jiggled inside a bit during transit. Instead of sending me a new one like I'm used to with a lot of the American suppliers I deal with, they told me to take it apart and try to troubleshoot it myself. You know, some casual electrical engineering. It was at that point I probably should have asked for a refund and invoked the Alibaba buyer's protection. But me, being me, I decided to take it apart and try to fix it. I had to break this waterproof seal right here, which was kind of a bummer since I don't have any sealant handy. Some of the inside components did get loose and had to be reconnected, but I was able to fix it. It was at this point I realized that this product probably wasn't the one for me, because if the components are going to get jiggled during transit, I mean, that's pretty bad, because as mobile DJs, that's like all we do is we take our gear to venues. I was just imagining taking 20 of these to a gig, and the feeling of dread I'd feel, the pit in my stomach when several of them weren't working, and then I'd have to troubleshoot them at a gig on the fly. And I wanted to alleviate stress, not add to it. I ended up purchasing the Chauvet Well STX 180s, and it was definitely a cry once scenario. While the initial investment was a lot, I've used these for most of my fall gigs. They've been super solid, super reliable, no issues. I might make a gear review of these one day, but let's get back to the Alibaba tube. Core features, it gets an A. It looks pretty good on camera, which isn't saying much because there's a lot of LED tubes that look good in static mode. It's bright, it's 32 watts, it's a little bit brighter than the Chauvet or the Astera AX1s. The colors in it are really good. It has an RGBW chip. The battery is excellent. I've tested it. It lasts over 8 hours. It's worth noting that the diameter is a little bit thicker than the average T12 tube. Ease of use gets a C-. The manual was incomplete and hard to understand. The manual didn't even give instructions on how to turn it off and turn it on. I had to contact support for that. While it has wireless DMX, I haven't tested it. I didn't want to invest more time in a product that I wasn't planning on using, especially with a hard to understand manual. It does come with a remote, which is pretty limited. The colors on the remote don't always align with the colors it produces. Some basic colors aren't even accessible on the remote, like red, and you have to manually configure it on the menu of the back of the unit. And it mostly lets you trigger static scenes or swap between one auto mode, which you have to have manually configured on the unit. And the auto mode does have pixel animations, but they're a little wonky. It's like there's a few scenes missing out of the chases, so the animation doesn't look super smooth. It does have sound active mode, and I know that a lot of people would want that in their light fixture. Portability gets a C. While it's good, it comes with the option of a charging flight case. Each unit weighs about 5 pounds, and the case is almost 100 pounds. So each case fully loaded with 10 of these is about 150 pounds. 150 pounds is really heavy, especially considering the Chauvet option fully loaded is about 60. Reliability, it gets a D-. It came to my door broken and I had to take it apart, and from time to time the connections do get loose, and sometimes one of the colors of the RGBW doesn't work, and sometimes one of the pixels gets stuck and doesn't work properly, and sometimes some of the buttons on the back don't respond very well. Accessories get a B. It did come with this built-in tripod, and it did come with an eye hook, which worked pretty well. I wanted to connect this to a tripod or a stand, and it gets a B because it wasn't super apparent which hardware to buy for this, and it took about a week of back and forth communication with the seller before I got the right one. It works pretty well. I've been able to mount this to a truss without any problems. The only comment I have to say is that's a little bit bulky, and it feels bulky. Overall value, it gets a C-. While it boasts the features of premium pixel tubes at the fraction of a cost, roughly $200 a unit is still a premium price, and I expected a more polished product. Overall, it gets a C. Chances are that if you're a company interested in pixel tubes, you're looking to elevate your presentation and deliver an A performance, which means you'll need A-level equipment. And I feel like this is definitely a case of you get what you pay for. So I was looking for a lot of features, but if you can live without some of those features, there's other tubes that are on the market that are a lot more reliable, like the Ape sticks. They're not pixel mappable, but they are wirelessly operated. It goes to show that there's maybe more to these tubes than just a few simple components that you could DIY for about 30 bucks. And there's a reason why these are being sold at a premium, and it looks like it's a case of you get what you pay for. So I hope that you found this video illuminating, so please smash like and subscribe, and have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.